Welcome to Cultural Kultivators. I'm Nicole Saliver, and this is our last episode. You know, when I first started Cultural Kultivators, my intention was deeply personal. I wanted to create something that would inspire my son, even though he's just 2 years old. And someday, I want him to hear these voices, these stories, and know that his culture is vibrant, his people are powerful, and that he too is part of a lineage that moves the world forward. So, as we look to the future, we thought it fitting to end this podcast centering on our youth. And today, we're featuring something very special. A story crafted by one of our very own youth participants from the Unsung Heroes youth podcast program at Belay Creative. Through Unsung Heroes, young voices from Bay Area high schools united this past summer to learn the art of storytelling, podcast production, and oral history. For many, it's their first time sharing their experiences publicly, bringing forward perspectives that are fresh, insightful, and deeply rooted in our community's diversity. We believe these youth stories matter. They offer vital new ways of seeing and connect us to the world through the eyes of a rising generation of cultural cultivators. Follow us on all social media platforms at Belay Creative or on Instagram at cultural.cultivators. This episode is hosted by Jerard, a high school senior in Daly City. Jerard brings us to his family's living room for a deeply personal conversation with his father, Mario. Jerard and Mario reflect on Mario's journey from growing up in Cebu as the youngest of 8 children to starting over in the United States at the age of 30. They discuss the trials of immigrating to a new country, the resilience it takes to build a new life from scratch, and the values that Mario has passed on to Jerard as a father and mentor. This episode offers a heartfelt glimpse into the Filipino immigrant experience and the bond fathers have with their sons. Jerard hopes that by sharing his father's story, listeners will gain a deeper appreciation for the sacrifices and triumphs of Filipino immigrants and a greater awareness of the cultural values that guide many Fil-Am families. You can follow the Unsung Heroes program on our website at belaycreative.org.
Hi everyone, my name is Jerard Del Mar and I'm a 16-year-old senior at Westmore High School in Daly City, California. Today, I will be joined by none other than my dad, Mario Del Mar. At the age of 66, he carries with him the lessons he has learned through his experiences both living in the Philippines, where he was born, and in the US, where he has, with undeniable determination and resolve, carved out a life for himself and his family. As for me, I will describe him as the true embodiment of a role model, teacher, and father. In this podcast, I hope to share with you some of the advice and insight he has shared with me throughout my entire life. We will be diving deeper into his childhood in the Philippines, his experience immigrating to the US, adjusting to a life in the US as an immigrant, Filipino family dynamics, how he approaches parenting, and how both Filipino and American values tie it all together. This episode is brought to you by the Unsung Heroes Youth Podcast Program, presented by Cultivate Labs and Belay Creative. Hello, I'm Jerard. I'll be your host for today, and today I'm joined with my dad. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jerard's dad, and my name is Mario. Same last name as Del Mar.
Nice. I'm really looking forward to how this interview turns out and learning even more about you. I know you told me a lot of stories about your life and your past and what it was like being in the Philippines and just being Filipino in general, but I'm excited to learn a lot more. So, with your childhood in the Philippines, just start off, where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in south of Manila, which is an island called Cebu. And I was born and raised over there. And we live in the city, actually, like in the city of Cebu. Back then, it was not much of things going on not as big as Manila. The place I was born and grew up, we had few people living there, so a few schools. Unlike today, that there's so many schools now, it's become a big city. And I could imagine that there was like a horse carriage then at that time, and it passes right in front of our house. And sometimes those horses just stop and then do their business right in front of our house. And it's funny, but we are really rich. We're not that really poor either, but kind of, I would say, below average, kind of thing. I'm kind of like the youngest of all 8 siblings.
Wow.
And the older sister, which is right I'm next to, age gap is like 10 years. So
10 years.
basically, I was growing up like with nobody to play with, because all of my siblings are really, really much, much older than me. So I was playing with just like with neighbors. Back then we played on the sand, on the ground. We had no playground or park where I live. So yeah.
So since we're on the topic of siblings, and you did mention that you were the youngest of 8, right? What were some of the biggest struggles you could think of being the youngest? I know you mentioned like maybe being lonely and feeling like an only child. Is there anything more specific that you can point out? Maybe like a specific experience?
Well, challenge is more of like your parents' eyes focus on you, because everybody's older and you're the youngest. So basically, you know how the parents are. They're so overprotective with the youngest son or child. So and everybody's grown up already. So all eyes on me, and so like every move is on me. I could even move without them asking what you doing. So basically, it's like, unless I had a brother sister who's could be a little bit at my age, the attention will be probably divided between me and some particular brother sister of mine. But at that time, it's only me. So eyes on me and my parents, and they're so strict too.
So since we're on top of your parents, what was your relationship with them? Would you say it was like a close one or strained, or how would you
Sad
describe
to
it?
say, we're not really close. There was no love in the atmosphere. And maybe because they don't show it that much. It's in the Philippines, they don't really show their love the way Western family show
Yeah.
the love. Like they're like being so vocal and being so showy of their love. But the Philippine culture, I mean, in my family's culture, they didn't show it. They just, the way they show the love is through through yelling and spanking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like growing up. And when you're a child, you don't know all you know is like the love is like something like you feel it like hugging, but I didn't feel those.
Never got that.
Yeah, yeah.
So with that being said, you think your parents raised you well, or what did you think of it as a kid? And then maybe right now, how would you look back on it, and how would you judge how they were like?
Well, they raised me very well in terms of like what's wrong or right,
Morals. Right?
morals, yeah, things like that. But somehow my parents were, especially my mom, she's so religious, and my dad, so. But they were raised being so strict and, being the right side of, which is good, and trying to not that to be bad. So they're strict, but they're just too strict that somehow you get, suffocated. Even though, you don't have all the freedom you need when you're a child, but still, you can even like play with your neighbors because this and that. I mean, I don't see any reason why not. And there are times when I was playing with my neighbor, and then my dad told me not to play, but I played with it because I'm a child and I want to play with. So when he found out I was playing with them, like he was really like whipping me with the belt, big time. Like I was like really crying. But my mom
Yeah.
tried to interfere, like, why are you doing that?
That's good. You said that earlier you felt like you had the most attention. Did that necessarily correlate with you feeling connected with them, or like feeling like you had some sort of deeper relationship rather than just like parent?
Not,
son?
I don't think that mom is okay. My mom is, He's always there. There's two scenarios here. The way my relationship with my mother and the relationship with my father. My relationship with my mother is she's strict, but somehow, mom always like mom. They're strict, but yet they show their love, the children. We're not really that rich. So sometimes, like, because I have brothers who are older than me. So every time we have a food or something that's special food, I don't even get a chance to eat them because, they're just going to like finish it all.
Yeah.
And by the time I found out that there's a good food, it's gone.
It's gone.
So my mom, usually what she'll do is she'll buy something good food like cocoa powder or whatever. And she's going to tell me that, oh, I hide something for you in your
For
room, in your
yourself.
closet.
Yeah.
So that your brothers wouldn't see it. Something like that. So yeah, that's the relationship. My mom. But my father, no, I don't have any relationship with him. She's more of like a military, but not, how military does. Like,
Yeah. Like you do this, you do that. More like that.
Yeah, just do that. And there's no if or but. This is what
That's
I
how it
want.
is.
And if you don't follow me, you're in trouble or things like that. Trouble means really big trouble too, because I got the feeling I might get whipped with a belt.
Yeah. I see. Okay, since we're like kind of talking about kind of negative subjects, just to end it off on this specific topic, what do you think are some of the fondest memories you have of your childhood? Whether it be with your family or maybe in school, anything early childhood, teen years, anything like that.
I don't have really fun memories of being a child. Nothing. I couldn't think of anything that would really stick to my mind that it's really gonna go back in memory lane. That this is nothing. I couldn't think of anything. In high school, I even have to like sneak out sometimes just to be with my friends.
Yeah.
Because my friends would let me get out of the house. I went up. Even when I was in my 20s, my father is so strict that he doesn't want to let me go out of the house until certain times. If I had home at a certain time, you're in trouble. I'm already in my 20s.
Wow.
That's about nothing. I don't have any fun memories at all. I mean, except with my brother, Uncle D, because sometimes he brings his friend and they love to sing and there's someone who plays the guitar and they get together and they sing and they kind of like having fun and just looking at them and then they let me join them. But not something that could be like wow, like a wow thing.
Yeah, I mean,
just
look back
something
at
that
that's the
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Since you were talking about like maybe like into your 20s or so, having your dad influence there, as you became an adult, maybe transitioned out of high school into college and started to grow into your own person, how do you think your relationship with your family, whether it be your parents or maybe your siblings, how do you think that changed?
I think it changed when our house got burned. I was about to go to my brother's place the next day. That was already my 20s. 23, I guess. I was 23. It was summer. So I was like, oh, you go, spend summer with us. It's so nice. Because the other brother of mine, this isn't the uncle, the other brother of mine, who died already, who's in the military. And so the house got burned that night before I was supposed to leave the next day. My bags are packed and everything's supposed to be because I was supposed to leave the next day. So I just took my bag and get out of the house.
Wow.
And then I was like, you know what? I wasn't really sad. I was happy.
Happy that you were able to
The house got burned.
because you were able to leave that behind. Maybe?
I was able to like it could be more free, a little bit more freedom in a way.
Be able to be your own person.
So I was happy. So my mother was crying so hard, this and that. So I was trying to console her, like, this and that. That was the inflection point of my life. Is that called inflection point?
I think turning point.
Turning point,
is
yeah.
the word, yeah.
Turning point of my life. When the house burned, I mean, totally burned. Nothing was saved. So all memories are gone, even pictures, all the pictures, all the things. So we're like, oh, we start fresh. Like, I was so happy. Like, wow.
Yeah. What happened to your family and you after that? Like, how did your parents maybe recover from that? And then how did you, what did you do after that?
I have a sister who had a house. My parents temporarily live with them, with my sister. They have only, few rooms in there. So I have to live somewhere else. And I know it can happen. I'm going to be living with my brother anyway. So I just moving around. I lived with my Uncle D, Uncle Undo, and I could just beware. Because can I live with it? I'll take her here. And my father wouldn't be able to say anything because, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Then I had a offer of a job down very, very far south as a moving salesperson.
Oh yeah, you told me you used to work in sales.
Yeah, so I went there and you worked in sales. I had a sales truck, that carries all the merchandise.
Yeah.
That was a good thing I chose that one because I need to explore because I haven't get a chance to explore, go around. So I said, yes, I want to go in the place where I go to, which is called Mindanao. It's a very troubled area, so there's a lot of rebels and so many uprising and so war, miniature wars going on. So it was a dangerous job, but I wasn't so scared, not even a single fear or scare. I was happy
Because you were able to actually
because that's my thing. Because I want to explore. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I want to learn and explore things around me. So I went to the most scariest place over there. Encounter with people who has guns with them. We used to sell this whiskeys and gin and stuff like that, and they were given like a box of samples that you could give out to the public, for promotions. So every time there's a rebel stop me, like, oh yeah, I'm trying to be friendly with him. You want some gin? You want some whiskey? Like, oh yeah, sure.
Right.
And then that was like a good thing because I had to go back. Of course, every week I had to go back there to see if they need more stock because they have to have more products. And you could see the same face again. So kind of like being friends with them is like, I'm secure now. Nobody's going to touch me. I just being
good.
It's not like being a street smart. I became a street smart
Through that experience.
Yeah.
And how old you were then?
I was 24. I guess at 24, right? It's
After college already?
yeah. Other class 24.
Sense. You did mention like you wanted to explore after that. You said turning point in your life of the house burning down, and then you be able to become a salesperson and be able to explore in that way. The next question that I had was, what were some of your goals and ambitions after the turning point of the house burning down? And then do you think you're able to achieve them? It could be as large as like being able to explore in the way that you did, or it could be like really small goals, or like maybe like a career path. Like I know you're telling me all the time about the career that you wanted to go down. Maybe talk more about that too.
Yeah, because when I was in high school, when I'm about to go to college, I know what I want to be. I want to be a pilot. But my parents don't want to because, especially my mom, she's afraid that, I might crash. I might die.
Of course.
But, they don't know better. So can I understand that? But anyway, then spending my college tuition, my college thing, because my oldest brother, which is Uncle Boy, who's already here in the U.S. and he's he's the one's kind of like helping me out through college. Because my mom said, man, it's expensive. Being a pilot's expensive because, flying time, flying lesson is really expensive in the Philippines. Like, it's a case that you're going to be paying for it. It's going to be a cool boy. But now, when you go up in the area, your life is 50-50. So they you have to follow your parents and what they want you to be, which is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
So when I was like in sales, I was going around, I see the people in all slices of life in the Philippines, a lot of poor people, a lot of life stories that I hear, how they struggled and never never could even get a little bit of reprieve from being poor. I see a lot of experiences, heard a lot of experiences, and I learned it from them. And I said to myself, no matter how much I struggle here in the Philippines, no matter how smart I am, no matter how street smart I am, no matter how educated I am, because I see a lot of people who are educated and who got this degree, who's got this degree, but there's nowhere to apply those degrees because there's no job opening. If a job opening, it's a thing that they're gonna hire somebody whom you know.
Yeah.
It's not what you know, kind of thing. It's not what you know. It's not about your education is. That whom you know in the whole thing. So nobody's helping me out. It's all by myself. And I got learned to be independent too. And so that I become stronger and stronger as the years goes by. because I have a big ambition, because I see how people back then struggled.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggled. One small missteps in their lives, they fell and they could never get up. Like,
Yeah.
especially you get sick, you got no money to buy medicine,
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's no security in a way. So I said, well, nah, I gotta find a way to get out of here. One of my brother, I remember what he said before he died. You know, that military guy,
Yeah.
brother of mine. He was telling all brother, like, if you guys want to succeed, get out of here. You don't want to stay here near to mom and dad, because they're gonna pull you down. They're gonna pull you down. Stay away. Get out
Yeah.
and then do something.
Did that take you a while to come to terms with, or did you immediately go like, yeah, that's what I need
Yeah,
to
but
do?
it's easy to say, but it's hard. Like,
to do.
how?
Yeah.
How would you do it? Like, are you gonna go? It's the same thing. It's still in Philippines. You wanna go Manila? You're still in the Philippines. You're like, I knew already that the U.S. is the place to be. You know, because with Uncle Boy,
Yeah.
like, it's the place to be, and then a land of opportunity and all this thing like that. And then I learned also that it's not like if you want to go to the U.S., you're gonna be successful right away. It's gonna be. I knew it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a hard fight for me as well.
Yeah.
But it's not as hard if you fight it in the Philippines. If you do that, if you exert that energy fighting for it in the Philippines, you'll get nowhere to go. Either you could go sideways but not go up.
Yeah.
But if you spend your energy the way you spent your energy to succeed, and you apply that in the U.S., you develop yourself to be smart, to be strong, and to deal with it, and you speak English and stuff like that. And then you have Uncle Boy there, that you're not like a stranger. Someone's gonna be you could live with, support you for a while. I mean, all the aces are card is on me. Like, but the only thing is how to get here to the U.S.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. So that's why I quit my
your
job,
sales job?
sales
sales
job,
job? Yeah.
because Uncle Boy, I told him I want to be there. I want to go there, but how? Well, we'll find a way. It's okay. This kind of like illegal kind of things.
It's okay. It's okay. It's in the past. It's in the past.
So like, okay, I know a congressman, friend of mine. I think he was
It's who you know.
whom you know.
Yeah.
He's one of my patients. And so I told him that I have a youngest brother of mine. He wants to come here. Can you vouch for him? Because my brother told me to go apply for a tourist visa. Tourist. Tourist. And it's hard to get out of the Philippines to be a tourist, because Americans know that, oh, you want to go tourist, by the time you get to America, you're going to stay there and you're not going to go back home, you're right?
Yeah.
You'll find a way. So it's hard to get in, even for a tourist visa. You have to be like a lot of money that you have to go back to the Philippines, because what you're doing in the U.S., if you have a lot of money in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're married and your wife is there, and why would you have to stay here and you get a family in the Philippines? You have a business or things like that.
Yeah.
That's a reason to go back to the Philippines. But I'm single. I did nothing. I had no money, no nothing. How am I going to do that? And then my brother said, my cool boy said, like, okay, we're going to do some fake
Shady stuff.
fake paper, like fake land title, fake bank accounts, and stuff like that, like, okay.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I went there. But first of all, he didn't tell me that he has a congressman friend that's gonna vouch for me when I do my interview
Yeah.
at the embassy. So all I know is that just go for interview, and he contacted a lawyer in the Philippines that does that. So this lawyer helped me out. That's why I quit the job, because I went to Manila. So help me out with, okay, this is what you do. This is the paper that you're going to bring over there. This is the real estate title that you own this, how many hectares of land. This is a bank deposit. You have a job who is the manager of this construction company. This is your business card.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yep. All real.
So I went there, scheduled my interview to come here to the US for a tourist visa. I went to interview. They don't really verify your paperwork at that time, unlike right now. But before then, it was so lax. So I was like, okay, you got this, you got this, you got that. Okay. So far, so good. You qualify. And then the consul asked me, you have any relatives in the US?
Mhm.
Then I remember the lawyer told me that if the consul asks you that if you have any brothers, sisters, or relatives in in the US, say
Say
no. Because what it is, they'll think that, oh, since you have a relative brother you could stay with, you could stay in the US. No, because you have somebody to you could lean on. But if you don't know anybody in the US, then you should tend to go back to the Philippines.
Mhm.
The consul asked me, do you have any brother in the US? I said no. And he said, you're denied. You're lying.
How do you know?
Like what? Like no, I was like, you're lying. You have a brother in the U.S. His name is Doctor for You're denied. I have a congressman here that have a letter from the congressman here that I would let you in.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be like a secret thing, or like,
No, I have a congressman that would vouch for me to get in. So the consul has the recommendation
but
letter.
then
But
that
then again, when the consul asked me if I have a brother, and I said no, then well, I have a recommendation from a congressman who is a friend of your
from
brother's.
your brother. Wow.
So denied. Boom. Okay, denied. Okay. Failed. Like, okay. That's okay. So I went back to Cebu, spent another year over there doing like pachi things and whatever.
Yeah.
One time, and I was active in the church anyway. So I had a lot of people that went in the church. And one of the person in church that part of my congregation group, he has some connections.
Mhm.
They opened up an consulate office in Cebu, and he knows a lot of people. He's a little bit more of like a higher category level society in Cebu.
Yeah.
And he said, Mario, you should you should go and apply again. He and said, don't go to Manila here in Cebu because they opened a consulate in Cebu. Like, the consulate in Manila already told me that you could never go to the US. You'll never be able to go to the US.
Yeah.
That's what he told me. He's like, try again, because you know why? The consul here in Cebu is lax. He's so friendly, but everybody's giving all this visa to come to the US. Like, okay, I'll try. So I went, bring my fake papers again.
Mm.
Boom. I get approved. Like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. And everything was just happening. It's more like a miracle, actually, because when I got it approved, this was after a year. Uncle Boy already got like discouraged. I don't think my brother's
Yeah.
gonna come over. So I had the visa, right? Uncle Boy didn't know this. Nobody knew anything about this. It was just my drive that we did, like, we need to get out of there. And then my Uncle Boy called, like, oh, I'm going to the Philippines for vacation. When? December. And I said, oh, okay. I have the visa already. How did you get the visa? Then I could check. Then I could, maybe when you go back to the US, I could go with you. Like, okay, that's good. So,
No.
can you buy me a ticket? I don't know how to buy tickets. Okay, but my ticket has to be a round trip. They cannot buy a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went there and then came to stay with Uncle Boy.
Honestly, I had like 3 questions about immigration to the Philippines, but I think you covered all of it already. Okay, so when you moved here, you lived with Uncle Boy. What were some of the most difficult things about adjusting to the U.S., whether it be like the culture or the people? What was most different about the U.S. compared to the Philippines when you came over here? And how are you able to adjust to that?
It wasn't really hard to adjust. It wasn't. I know that it's gonna be start from scratch.
Mhm.
So when I was in Uncle Boy's house, what I did was I know how to speak English, but not conversational English. It's different. When you speak English in the Philippines, it's more like putting 2 words together, 3 words together. You have to make it like, but conversational is not there.
Out there, yeah.
So what I did, I was just all day, all night, watch TV, watch the soap opera.
Yeah.
Soap opera.
Mhm.
Like, oh, and then how this how it means. It means so I kind of like know, all those things that we don't learn in the Philippines,
Yeah.
conversational English. So I couldn't find a job. My brother has a friend who's a doctor that has a sister who owns a restaurant. So he asked me if I just want to work in a restaurant. Like, sure, whatever it is, good thing. I will be having interaction with people. That's what I need anyway,
Mhm.
to start interacting with people. And then I said, like, but how you gonna know, how you gonna, you'd have the experience in a restaurant. Like they're looking for a waiter. Like, I could do waiter, that's fine. Like, how would you do that? You don't even know the food. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll find a way. So I did. Although, I have no paper. I'm not allowed to work, supposedly. So they pay me under the table cash.
Mm.
Like, okay, that's fine
That
with
works.
me. And they don't pay that good anyway, because, probably like $2 an hour. But only tips it's in Wisconsin, so it's really not a big place to work with. But anyway, so then, it's an Italian restaurant. So I struggle with the food, like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's just like I pretend to know it all, but trying to just like wing it.
Yeah.
So, but the people are nice though. People are nice. That's why I learned like the only weapon and tool that is probably gonna work for me is just keep on smiling and be nice and smile. Because once you get that vibe, the smile and being nice, people will be just nice to you. No matter So that's what it is. So
Small goes a long way.
goes a long way. Yeah.
That's
So
that's kind of what I live by too, because it's like, as long as it's kind of getting off topic, but like, as long as you show to people that you're being genuine and authentic, and you're not trying to either like get something out of them or anything, you just want to be your genuine self and put up a smile with people, they're gonna let their guard down. As long as you let people know through your actions or whatever that you're just a kind person,
yeah,
and that you just want to put up a smile, then
that you are not an enemy.
they just let their guard down.
And
And
it's a good out.
no matter like their background or wherever they were raised, it's pretty universally applied to everybody.
Yeah.
That's good that you found that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when they said like if you're Rome, you're Roman. So I tried to like think like an American. I don't want to think like like Filipino.
What does it mean to think like an American?
Think like American, like you engulf the American spirit. It's not like you have that Filipino feel, but you try to act like American. It doesn't work that way. You just have to be like try to like take off your Filipino feel and try to like feel like you're an American and just project like an American in a way.
Did you like doing that, or did you just feel like that's something you needed to do?
That's something I need to do. I know this, and what I've experienced from all the other people, Filipino people who came over here to the US, who still like been here for a long time and wasn't successful because they didn't try hard to really get out themselves and try to be an American rather than Filipino trying to impart to be American. You just have to be, talk, feel like the American culture is in you, it's hard to explain. So when you speak, you don't speak like a Filipino, speak an American.
Yeah.
In a way. You know what I mean?
How did that feel, having to maybe let go of your Filipino identity even for a little bit,
I know Filipino is still in me. It's just playing the role of survive. Yeah.
just to survive?
Yeah, just survive. It's like flipping myself the other way around.
Yeah.
The Filipino is still in me. I'm just like flipping it around to survive. I think it's the survival mode kind of like kicks in, trying to learn how to survive in the US by learning how other Filipino who came here that just barely survive because the way they talk, the way they feel, the way they interact with people, it's like they still have the Filipino culture, and American culture wouldn't kind of like relate to it because it's hard to relate a different culture if they're not familiar with it.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why my name is Mario, and the people over there and my customers in restaurant would ask me, "What's your name, Mario?" Mario?
Mario. Yeah.
Mary, like Mary, Mario, like. So I changed my name, Mark.
Mark.
What's your name, Mark? Okay, so Mark, easier. And then there's more American name, Mark. So like, that's why I said you had to be like I'm American. But yeah, flip side, I'm still a Filipino in the back of it.
Yeah.
But when I get back home, then I go back to my Filipino way. That's how it's funny. I mean, even now, when I talk to a Filipino, my English is like Filipino. I talk like Filipino, like a hard English.
Yeah.
Because they understand it.
Yeah.
The Filipino would understand it. If I talk like in an American way, like, the slang is like, they go like, they go like, hey. So that's why, like, it's an instinct to me. So it's flipping.
Yeah.
So this is how you survive. In Rome, you have to be a Roman. How can you be a Roman if you don't know how to be a Roman?
That's true. Can't be a Roman if you're a Greek.
That's right, yeah. Even though you're a Filipino, you have in America had to be American.
Yeah.
There was and the thing that I wouldn't forget experience in a restaurant, I was still new. A customer of mine ordered a salad. Like, okay, salad. Then I tried to learn all the dressings. Like okay, I try to memorize. Like, I pretend to really know it. So I have my salad dressing on the side. Like, what is it again, ma'am? On the side, like, okay. I put the salad. I put the salad in the car. I know where to put the salad. Usually put the dressing already on top, right?
Yeah.
So like when it's on the side, like, what's it on the side? So I put the dressings on the side, literally.
Like over the circle?
On the circle. That was the most embarrassing thing that I couldn't forget. And so I'm pro circle. I like, here you go, ma'am. Like, where's my dressing? I said, it's right there, man. Like, where is it? I don't see it here. It's like right there. Like, I said on the side. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I thought like I got away with it. So I was like, oh my goodness, that's funny. So that was the experience. And then yeah, I learned a lot from working in a restaurant. It was a struggle, but for me, it's like I expected that one. I even like before I left Philippines, there was one of my brother's friend whom I just met before I left, and they stopped by at the house, and so my brother told him that he's gonna be leaving to the U.S. Like, I've been to the U.S. And I lived there for like 8 years. I came back to the Philippines. I don't like it over there. Like, and I said like, why? It's like because it's hard. It's like, nah, you don't have to play it. Okay? It's like, but it's a nice place, but it's a struggle. Like, there's always a way to, maybe just so hard up in your ways. Like, be water, like Bruce Lee would say, be water. Just go with the flow, what it is.
Yeah.
But if you get stiff of what you have, then it's hard. Like, nah. So believe me, I will succeed every day. Because what I see when I was in south of the Philippines, all the struggles, all the hardships, all the war in there, anything besides that is a breeze for me. It's an easy thing for me.
All right, and just a quick last question for this like immigration portion of the podcast. Do you think you were ever like discriminated against for the color of your skin, or maybe just the way you talked or anything like that when you came here?
Yeah, I think I would say probably twice when I was in Wisconsin. The first one was that I had this 2 young couple that I served. Wisconsin is like nothing more of a white people. There are some prejudice, discrimination still going on. So they look at me like kind of weird way, and then they finally like couldn't help it. The guy asked me like, "Where are you from?" And I answered like, "Oh, I'm from the Philippines." And then he says, "How did you get here? By boat?"
Wow.
By boat. So I was like, And it just so happened that the next table, my fellow server, a waitress, her boyfriend is Filipino.
Oh.
She overheard it.
Yeah.
She came over to me, to my table, and then said to this gentleman, "Have you heard of plane nowadays?" She was really mad because her boyfriend is Filipino.
Yeah.
She was really like mad. So they just kept quiet. Like, I just kept smiling.
Yeah.
So there was a second was that I had a little gig, like some kind of like a promo, like a little side job, I guess. A promo. We give samples to a bar. In a bar, this cigarette used to be a cigarette before. We give out cigarettes. They give us like Thai, and all these things like that. And so when I went to the bar, all these, white people, tall and short, and so they stopped mocking me. Oh, that short guy. They grab all the cigarette I have in my tray, and they grab my 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 tie and everything. I almost like got stripped, like,
Mm.
and it's just like, okay. So I went out like I'm done. But they said
Yeah.
it's okay. It's how it is. You have to just hold on, and you want to be in Rome. Try not to fight with the Romans.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Let's now talk about more present day. I know we've been talking a lot about your past and coming to the U.S. from the Philippines and what it was like. Knowing all that you know now, having lived in the Philippines for half your life and then the U.S. for half your life as well, what do you think are some of like the predominant values in Filipino culture? And then maybe how they compare to the values, maybe traditions, aspects of culture in America.
Well, the pros in Filipino culture are family oriented, hospitality. Family is always the number one in the Filipino culture. Everyone, even neighbors are families, even friends are family, and
Yeah.
we call them uncles and aunties, even though
Yeah.
they're not related. That's how cohesive, that's how tight people in the Philippines. And they're so hospitable that the first thing they'll do when you go to a house, the first thing they ask you is, have you eaten yet?
Mhm. Yeah, that's always the question I get when I go to like parties
Yeah.
with family friends or like just family. It's always go eat.
Yeah, have
Go
you
eat this
eaten yet?
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filipino culture is more like they're proud of the food, or they want you to feel good, to eat, to give you a smile on your face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only thing about that's the pros on that one. And the cons are more of like they haven't got much of education in how to really raise children over there.
Mhm.
It's more like I'm the parent, you should follow me. Don't talk back to me. Just listen to what I say and follow what I say.
Mhm.
And if you don't do that, you're in trouble. And you have no say to anything. They still have the hurting child just to learn their
Yeah.
lesson. That's the only thing that kind of like really I'm
Yeah.
against with, because hurting them wouldn't make them realize and learn the lesson. But I don't blame the parents like that, because that's how they learn growing up from their
Yeah.
parents, and it's how they express their love. Unless the parents are really like bad people.
Yeah.
But normal parents in the Philippines sometimes do that in the spur of the moment, because the way they express their love is to really yell at you. It's a mixed feeling, I guess, from them, that they're mad, they're scared,
Mhm.
they're scared of you not following what I said, that what's going to happen to you. And they're mad because you did not follow what I said. You don't have no respect for me. So the way I express it is through yelling and spanking.
Mhm.
But bottom line is they love you. It's just how they express it.
Yeah.
They don't know better. But it's getting better now, especially in the big cities and the
That's true.
developed areas, but not in the mountains and the provinces, I guess.
Yeah.
And
That makes sense. There's less education in that area too.
yeah. No parents that doesn't love their kid, the children. They
Mm.
do. It's a matter of how to express, but somebody have to think about the other side of the equation, the children. How would they think about it? They need guidance. They need to feel that you're around. You feel that sometimes you need to have a discipline, but in what way? There's a lot of way to discipline a person. But that was the culture then growing up for me. But I think now it's more like got adopted the Western
Mm.
culture in a way, in
Yeah.
terms of like raising the childrens, I guess.
I don't think that's really a question that has a definitive answer, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that we talked about it and kind of delved more into the topic, because I think it's important to talk about. And I think that's something that a lot of people can either have like opinions about or have experiences with. So I'm glad we talked about that. With the Filipino culture, about the hospitality, very family oriented, even within like the neighborhood and
Mm.
everything. I grew up, of course, in America. I was born in San Francisco.
it's like almost the complete opposite in America. Like you kind of look at people cynically, or like you tend to view people as not dangerous, but more adversary, more in a negative light, rather than immediately being open and friendly to them. You always have your guard up. Like even in the old house, I think we knew our neighbor, and that was like the only neighbor I've ever known. After that, I think we moved here. Maybe we knew the neighbor next door a little bit, but then he moved or he passed away, I think.
Yeah, he passed.
And then now I don't know a single person in this block. And even whenever we go to family parties or like family friends parties, I feel like just because I've grown up in the US, it's like these people, I feel like I should know them, feel more connected to them, but I don't. Like, there's so many times where you'll be like, oh, this is your Tito blank, or this is Tita blank. And I'm like, who's that? I don't know who you are, because like there's not too many opportunities to connect with those people. And I think growing up in America, those values aren't really emphasized as much, with like having a sense of community and family. And it is harder too, because we don't really live near any family. The closest family is in Sacramento. And even when I do spend time with them, I don't necessarily feel connected with them either. And that's not necessarily like, I guess that is a bad thing, but I'm not like really losing sleep over it. It just, I wonder what it would be like if I was raised in maybe the Philippines, or if
maybe if you live in the Philippines for like a few months, by yourself, you're gonna adapt some of those things.
Yeah, every time I go to the Philippines and then I stay with Mama's family, that side of the family, with all my cousins and everything, that's when I feel most connected to a family outside of like you and Mama.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's hard for me to really have a sense of connection with family.
Yeah, always like hesitation to really like open up
Yeah.
for strangers. Yeah.
Knowing what you know about Filipino values about parenting, and then moving here, and then maybe getting a new perspective on the values here. With all that information, how do you think it has led you to have this parenting style with me? Genuinely, I think you have like a really good parenting style, and the way that you've raised me as a person has led me to grow into someone I can be proud of. When you became a father, and as you've grown as a father, how have you learned to have your parenting style, and how has it been affected by maybe Filipino values, American values?
So basically, since I experienced it in the Philippines, I saw it in the Philippines, and I know which is wrong and which is right in terms of like how a child feels, what a child wants. And so when I came to the US, I kept the positive part of it, because there's some positive part,
Of course.
in Philippine parenting.
Yeah.
I kept that. I kept that. What I see here in the US, I realize that each person, each child has his own personality. You cannot just like cookie cutter, like, oh, this is it, this is what we do, this is our ratio. There's no such thing as that. Each person, each child's, once they're born, they have the personality built into them already. So you have to adjust to the child's personality and go with it. And so I talked to one of the child psychologists when I was still working. I became a friend of him. And his wife writes a book about child. And there's only one thing he told me, like, there's only one thing. Love your child. Love him. Love him, love him, love him. That's it. And I said, what do you mean love him? Of course, like, love him. Just try to dig that part, love him. Okay. So if you love a person, you don't want to hurt the person. If you love the person, you want to understand the person. If you love the person, you want to be on that side of the person, how he feels. So these are the kinds of love,
Yeah.
It's not like you love him, like, keep it to yourself. You want to share it, the person to other, because you love. That's not how it is. If you love the person, you let him go. You let him be happy. So all these things apply, being in love. So I said, just love him. Love him. That's all you need. Simple, love him. Because it's the same thing. Like once you love a person, you want him to be happy. You want him to be confident. You want him to be at ease. You want him to be like, like secured. Feeling secured and happy. So there's things. So many factors defining what love is. So that's love to a child. And then, because you see the child growing up.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like learn from it. You have to be present. That's why I said, I had to be around all the time. Because how would you know the child's character personality if you're around?
Yeah.
And then you build from there. It's just like, I always tell Mama that a child is like a computer program, which is still blank. What you put
blank
in,
slate.
it's a blank slate. So what you put in there is going to be there forever. It's
Yeah.
not going to be erased. You just have to plant in there the right emotion, You plant in there the right mental, spiritual,
Yeah.
the right foundation. You have to feed that all the time. One time when you were like baby, you're like, it's changing your diaper. And they keep like talking to you, keep laughing, like really laugh.
Yeah.
And Mama got mad at me. Why are you laughing at the child? I'm not laughing at a child. I just want to laugh so that she'll hear me laughing and maybe she'll start laughing too. And a laugh is a natural feeling of happiness. And the child easily could feel that, even though they don't understand it. But the feeling is strong that, oh, Papa is happy. This house is happiness, So I tried to tell Mama kasi Mama doesn't care, like, get that yet. The way she expressed her love is fear. She gets panic. She gets excited right away. Relax. And, fear is the number one enemy. Once your fear sinks in and uncertainty sinks in, that's it. Yeah, fear, once you fear is, a dominant effect. You don't know what to do and start getting mad. Just kind of let him understand. Because if you just go like, don't go there, why? But just don't go there. That's not an answer.
Yeah.
Actually, raising a child is simple. It's just a matter of like, love him.
Yeah.
Love him. And once you love him, it's a reciprocal. So if you give love, without even thinking that other person will give love to you too. If you smile at a person, that person will eventually will smile at you too.
Yeah.
You see, what vibes you give, that's the vibes you get.
Yeah. I definitely can look back on my years of being a son to you, and I see how that philosophy has like shined through. And I'm really glad because I know a lot of people aren't as fortunate to have parent figures like that who have gone through what you have and have learned what you have and have been able to really raise the child, I think, in like the best way. Honestly, I think that's a perfect place to end it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for talking to me. That was honestly, I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but I'm glad that we really dove into these topics and really talked about them, because I think just the stories, your experiences, and your advice and your lessons, I think they're really valuable to no matter who hears them, no matter if they're Filipino, if they're not Filipino. I think it applies to everybody. And
For everybody.
And I'm glad that we had this conversation. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for joining me.
Okay.
This is Jerard signing off, and
And this is Mario the Dad signing off.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us on this journey. I hope each and every one of you was able to take something great away from this podcast, whether it be a hearty laugh, a nugget of insight, or even a new outlook on life. I learned so much about and from my dad in just this hour of us talking with each other. And even after his retelling of the struggles of his childhood, living as the youngest of 8 under harsh parents, hearing about the hardships he faced during his time in the Philippines after what he dubbed the turning point of his life, the trials and tribulations he experienced coming to the US and living here as a Filipino immigrant, his unwavering drive to make himself a life despite starting from rock bottom, and our discussion about the values of Filipino and American culture and how they've shaped how he approaches being a father, I still want to sit down and talk with him even more. All in all, I felt our conversation shone a spotlight on the Filipino immigrant experience, while underscoring the dichotomy between predominant Filipino and American values and how that stark dichotomy informs the approach to parenting my dad and many other Filipino American parents have come to take on. I thank my dad for being so open about his experiences with me and the rest of you, and I am honestly so grateful to have him in my life.
I think the biggest lesson I learned listening to this episode was love is a revolutionary act. Listening to this heartfelt conversation between Mario and Jerard feels like I was witnessing ancestral healing in real time. A bridge between generations built on love, understanding, and connection. Mario's parenting philosophy, rooted in the simple but profound act of love, teaches me that something timeless. Love is not just an emotion, it's a choice, it's a practice, and a transformative force. As Mario shared and spoke about raising Jerard, he illustrated to me as a new parent how love becomes the foundation for a child's confidence, security, and happiness. Mario's approach, blending the wisdom of Filipino values with the individuality and flexibility of American parenting, showed me the beauty of honoring traditions while evolving with time. It's a reminder that love is not rigid. It flows, it adjusts, and it nurtures. This conversation also served as a timely reminder for us all that as we move forward into this new year and navigate increasingly divisive times, it calls us back to what matters most: love and connection with our families, with our communities, and more importantly, ourselves. In a world often overshadowed by fear and disconnection, the simple act of loving, truly seeing and valuing one another, can be revolutionary. And Jerard's gratitude for his father's parenting is a testament on how love, when given freely and consistently, creates ripples of healing across generations. It shows us that the stories we tell, the lessons we pass on, and the love we give are not just for now, but for the future we are building. And as we move forward, let this be our guide to root ourselves in love, to nurture connection, and to believe in the transformative power of even the simple acts of care. Because in doing so, we don't just heal ourselves, we heal the generations before us and those yet to come. Wow. What a journey it's been. 2 years, 40 episodes, and countless moments of inspiration, connection, and I love that. Or we love a full circle moment. And as I sit here recording this final outro of Cultural Kultivators, I have to say, my heart is full of gratitude. This podcast has been one of the greatest achievements in the past 4 years, besides birthing my son, because we got to offer a platform for 40 incredible guests to share their stories, celebrate their successes, and tell their truths. From trailblazers like Ruby Ibarra and Serena Bolden, to thought leaders like Dr. Alison Tintialco Cubales, to activists like Terry Vallon, and community pillars like Rudy Corpus Jr., and to legendary icons like Joe Bataan. Our podcast has been all about celebrating these incredible people who shaped and enriched our Filipino American culture. Each guest reminded us of the power of our roots and the boundless possibilities of our future. But this show was never just about me or even the guests. It was about us. Because every one of you who tuned in or shared an episode or liked something on social media or reached out and DM'd us with words of encouragement has been a vital part of this journey. And together, we built a space that celebrated the beauty, resilience, and creativity of the Fil-Am community and beyond. But don't worry, this isn't a final goodbye. It's really a passing of the torch to this next generation of unsung heroes, of storytellers, of youth that is ready to take center stage, continuing our commitment to storytelling and preserving our oral histories. The work doesn't end here. It evolves. And in the next coming months, I'll be taking some time to refocus, reground, reflect, and dream even bigger about what comes next. Whether it's a new podcast, a documentary, or a different project completely, I'm excited for what's ahead. And in the meantime, you can stay connected to me by following me on Instagram at Kindred Kapwa. So, to everyone who's been part of this journey, thank you for listening, for supporting, for believing, for being open to our stories, our voices, and know that our stories continue to matter, our truths continue to matter, and as long as we keep sharing them, the legacy of our culture will continue to thrive. So until we meet again, thank you. Maraming salamat. And let's keep cultivating together. This episode of Cultural Kultivators was hosted by Jerard, brought to you by the Unsung Heroes Youth Podcast Program. This program was made possible with support from California Arts Council and California Humanities, a nonprofit partner of the National Endowment for the Humanities. Visit calhum.org for more information. This podcast is co-produced by John Reyes, Kindred Kapwa, and Balai Creative. It is a product of Cultivate Labs. Stay in touch at Balai Creative or on Instagram at cultural.kultivators or Kindred Kapwa.
AJ, come here.
Okay. Say hi.
Hi.
My name is AJ. Say thank you
Thank you.
and maraming
Mami.
salamat.
Mama.
Mahal kita.
Makita.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No, don't touch it though.
Bye-bye.
No, don't touch it.
Bye-bye.